como en la alerta constante. Listo, ahí está. Gente, se juega de Stanley padre. ¿Están listos? ¿Me cambian el coso? ¿Cómo se llama el juego? Game de Stanley parable. Sí, perfecto. Perfecto, ya está. Listo. Comienza partida. Pues anda bien el stream, todo, joyita. Yo pregunto porque ya veo que explota todo a la mierda. Y me quedo yo hablando acá, solito. Ok, gracias Cami. Por ahora perfecto. Excelente. Me encanta que se vea el Totoro diciendo por ahora perfecto. Está cargando el jueguito. Todavía no explotó nada. Así que... joya. ¿Cómo están? ¿Cómo estuvo? ¿Qué van a hacer este fin de? ¿Cómo lo están? ¿Cómo le están pasando este viernes? ¿Eh? ¿Cómo le están pasando?
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a...
Como que no hay subtítulos, ¿no? Video. Audio, subtítulos. Normal. Listo. Perfecto. Ah, tiene que reiniciarse. F. Ok. Listo, comenzó partida de nuevo. Ya está, empieza rápido. Ya cargó. Ya cargó. No se vayan. Darre. Estoy desesperado. A ver. Hay que identificar. Mira, ¿no ves? Aquí identifica uno. Este es bot. Así que yo lo saco. Para que no moleste, ¿entendés? Para que no se vea en mi cosito. Porque si no molesto, ¿viste? Y es insoportable.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
¿Cómo están, gente? ¿Cómo les va? Bien. Quiero que rompas el juego. En eso estoy. En eso estoy. En eso estoy. Patada. Me encanta. Llegó a las patadas, Cam. Hola, Cam. Quiero que rompas el juego, sí. Yo también quiero romper el juego. Dale, jugá. Estoy jugando. Estoy jugando. Estoy en medio de algo. A ver, yo estoy acá. Y el chabón quiere que yo salga. Pero yo no quiero salir. Yo me quiero quedar acá, escribiendo mis cositas. Pero se juega más rápido. Es como cuando te dicen que de decir que estás en el colectivo y dicen, bueno, pero vení más rápido. Y es como... Bueno. A ver.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Eso, jugá mejor. Pero me cago en todo. A ver.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Es hermoso,
Yes, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
O sea, el arco es... Los dos arcos ahí están buenísimos. O sea, esto...
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
O sea, encima tiene una máquina para comprar tipo gaseosas. O sea...
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
Los VHS yo ya los puse ahí. Porque los tuve que sacar y saqué todos los juegos de mesa y fue como un despelote. Ahora que lo pienso, un estante ahí estaría re piola. Porque no tiene ningún estante esta habitación. Estaría bueno. Esto está muy vacío. Y podrían ordenar esto, ¿no? ¿Esto qué dice? ¿Tengo un capítulo de los Simpsons? No. ¿Les puedo mostrar? ¿Qué dice esta taza? Dad. Me encanta. ¿Qué dice ahí? ¿Qué? Farboy. Ah. Bueno, no creo que nos diga nada más, así que...
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and
Amazing
took
room.
the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Ok.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
¿Cómo que los tiraron? No sé qué puteada, dame. Ok, ahorita noto.
Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
Ok. Bueno, no me dejé para otro lado.
Oh, no. No, it's to the right. My mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Cam, ok, Cam está bien.
Down, right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
No, la derecha. ¿Por qué siento que me va a atropellar un camión? ¿Me puede atropellar mi camión? ¿Por qué suena el camión como una puerta? Opa.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
¿Para qué lo parió? ¿Cómo me cago con la...? A ver.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors?
Yo no hice nada.
The story somewhere or a... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago.
Tengo todo
I
anotado.
know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
¿Para dónde voy? Igual todo lleva a lo mismo, ¿no? Qué rico. ¿Para dónde voy? ¿Para dónde voy? Acá no puedo ir, obviamente, pero vuelta acá. Izquierda.
This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Este se podía abrir, me acuerdo.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes.
Ya me acuerdo hasta el final.
No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps. Now this... Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win!
¡Vamos! Easy
Put in
peasy!
a lot of hard work, and it really paid off. So, good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win.
¿Cómo que no?
Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay? I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart. All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that? No, I'm down. We're leaving it up to the line from now on.
Okay. Okay.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood. Cut the music, go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything. Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Estáis.
Oh, no, not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Ay, me encanta. ¿Otra vez?
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting,
Sí.
mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
A ver.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Ok. No le hago caso. ¿Dónde tengo que ir? Uy, no. No. Entonces tengo que seguirla. Si no, no pasa nada. Y yo sigo una línea.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From
wow.
here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits. Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you do happen to have a...
¿Me asusté? Dios. ¿Qué le pasa?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Estaba en otra. Darre.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
¿Y cómo están?
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Puedo sacar esto.
It was baffling that Stanley...
Un minuto. Voy a sacar a este. Ahí está. Listo. Uy.
Still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Exactamente.
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing?
Sí.
Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused. You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
Agarren la estrella. Agarren la estrella.
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friend, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this...
Estaba re grosso, XD. El final de mi
Stanley was fat
estaba
and
re
ugly and
grosso.
really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers. Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. He or she has fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place at the computer, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming. so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
¿Pasará algo? Supongo que no, porque dijo cuando lo comprendas salir por el pasillo.
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Bueno, ahora sí.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Abrime la puerta. Abrime la puerta. A ver.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Vamos a agarrarle. Vamos a agarrarle. Vamos a agarrarle muchas veces.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device, Stanley simply began entering random codes into the keypad, knowing full well the sheer statistical unlikelihood that this would ever result in a correct combination. If he knew that the combo was 2845, 2845.
mean.
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Let me in. ¿Cómo están? A ver. Yo lo noto bastante tranquis. Más que lo general. No están cagando patadas ni nada.
Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Me encanta que se peguen. No. Tengo mucho miedo.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Uy, gente. ¿Qué hago? ¿Qué hago? ¿Qué hago? ¿Qué hago? ¿Qué hago? ¿Qué hago? Escapa, niño, escapo, escapo, escapo.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Escapé, 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 escapé. O morí.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly. And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
No. What the fuck? The two doors. The office. Exacto. Warzone. No, ¿qué es esto? No, Tron. ¿Cierto? Moda. ¡Uy! ¡Uy! ¡Se trabó! ¡Uy! Le agarró un... Era fija. No responde. Sad Stanley. Está el enter de Guntion. Fate en Epic. Te aviso por las dudas. Ok, vamos a verlo de nuevo. ¿Cuál era el que jugaba? Se jugaba Portal, jugábamos.
Pate Swift. Dijo. Ya lo tengo en Steam.
Rompiste el juego, rompí el juego, Cam. ¿Podés creerlo? Bueno, sí podés creerlo. ¿Cuál era el final? ¿Cómo se logra el final ese de que jugabas mal y que la jugabas?
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Sí. Ya sabemos esto. A ver, creo que era por acá. Ah, había uno. Había uno que era... ¿Probar todo? Sí, voy a probar todo. Hay tiempo. Que era siguiéndolo y vamos hasta una máquina que me lleva a un cierto lugar y yo puedo saltar de la máquina esa. Sí, ya sé. Usaré. No quiero ir. Voy para abajo. Uy, no, este es el final del universo.
Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself.
Gracias, Cam.
I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job.
Sí, con la
All I
gelatina.
want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Phew.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Mariela.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Bueno.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Había un final secreto, si mal no recuerdo,
Yes,
tocando
truly a room
ciertas
worth
puertas.
admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you, or... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door. All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing, because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback.
Oh, sí.
There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. A 1? I mean, I can understand if you had reservations, you saw ways the game could be improved to more fully express itself mechanically and artistically, but a 1? That's not even helpful. What am I supposed to do with that? But I guess it isn't my place to judge. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Siete horas. Okay.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Oh, gente.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience. You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Sí.
Stanley, is this any better? At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here. No, here. And then... Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. But you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable. Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond.
Sí.
Diamond everything. Yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
Vamos. Sí.
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light? Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5.
¡No!
Diamonds couldn't save this.
¡Una serpiente!
Okay,
Una serpiente,
okay.
una araña. ¿Por qué una serpiente? Dije. Muy bien, sí se la chocó ella. Cam, activa el comando nuevo. Dale.
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find
El
out
comando.
what the hell this is.
Sí. Actívalo. Ay, no me explico, esperen un minuto. Prácticamente estábamos hablando con Can de qué comandos agregábamos. ¿Qué pasa? Y queríamos agregar algo de Ricardo Ford, que después agregamos el de Ford. Pero tipo, confié en Ricky y Cam dijo ¿qué pasa? Entonces yo puse ¿qué pasa? Y nos empezamos a tentar. ¿Por qué rarísimo, Ricky? ¿Qué pasa? Enojado, ¿viste? ¿Qué pasa? Exactamente. Es muy bueno. ¿Qué pasa? El mejor comando. Hola, Citrek.
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical
Ay,
thinking, Stanley.
duele.
Your forte.
Turuturu.
Genius. No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games, and I highly doubt you're any wiser for the experience. Which is why, rather than continue to waste my time, I'm just going to leave you here. You can pretend you've beaten the game if it makes it any richer for you, but as for me, I've had enough. So, why don't you get cozy in this room, and if you have any grand revolutionary ideas for the perfect video game, you can just sit there and let it ball up inside you for all eternity. I don't need your advice. I don't need your ratings. And I certainly don't need the validation of a man whose job is to push buttons. I think I'll just go about my business, making meaningful cultural contributions to the world. And perhaps every now and then, I'll think back to a man named Stanley who was objectively wrong in every decision he ever made. The thought won't last long. Goodbye, Stanley. Good luck with your work. And I sincerely hope that everyone lives happily ever after.
¿Qué demonios este? ¿Qué pasa? ¿Sabían que este mapa es el modelo del mapa original? Porque originalmente este juego se había hecho en Garry's Mod y lo habían hecho con este tipo de mapa. No así, pero es como un easter egg, entre comillas. Supongo que me tengo que tirar para... ¿Qué pasa? Uy. No, este es. Acá está. Llegamos. Este es el... Este es el mapa original. Así era. No tengo... Las dos puertas... No, bueno, hay solo una puerta. Y hay luz ahí. Va. ¿Y?
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own
El
story,
domingo.
well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Lo pateaba. No, lo rompiste, Ari. Rompiste el coso. Pate. Te dieron un maruchan.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Gracias, Pate. Vamos a fijarnos el
Stanley
final
was
de
so
la puerta
bad at
roja.
following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust
Sí.
in someone else can be difficult, but the
Sí.
fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful.
Casi me voy a la mierda. Tengo mucha mierda la silla. Voy a tener que cambiar,
Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important.
Abusadora. Porque te pegó una patada nada más. Vamos a ir por acá.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
¿Qué pasa?
What do we want? What are we looking for?
¿Qué pasa? Tengo que caminar.
Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
Ay, miren, qué bonito. No. Ah, mirá. Miren qué bonito. No, se me apagaron las luces.
No, wait. Where are you going?
¿Y dónde crees que vaya? Ya estuve viendo.
Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
Bueno, vamos a ver esto.
Good. We can't be too safe. Promise me you won't go back there. Just stay here. No! What do we talk about? You're risking everything we achieved here.
Bueno. Creo que nunca había logrado hasta el final.
You are going to stay here, aren't you?
Creo que no pasa nada más, Ah. Oh, mira qué lindo. ¡No!
You heard me before, didn't you? You will die! What about this isn't getting through to you?
No, Pate, no te respondió.
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
Lo voy a hacer. Chat, lo voy a hacer.
Pate Swift. Dijo. Autosuicidate.
Bueno, no lo voy a hacer.
Cam-López. Dijo. Jump.
Jump. Qué muy lindo esto, tienes razón. Bueno, pero no me decís ningún
Pate
diálogo
Swift.
más.
Dijo. Doa flip.
No, flip. Es.
Arisachi-bajo. Dijo. Crovis te puedes suicidar.
¿Por qué? ¿Cómo? Alguien haga un clip de eso, por favor. ¿Sabes qué?
No! Oh, thank God. You lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other room? There. See? This is what you want. This is where we can both be happy. We really can. If we stop moving, we just have to stop moving. Stanley, go back. There's nothing good that can come from this. No. No. What? Do you just not believe me? What can I say to convince you?
Patata. Patata.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me? Yes. Perhaps you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about. I know you'll see that we can't be happy if we leave this place. You can see that, can't you?
¿Nunca jugaste este juego, Citrek? Hola, Nolce, ¿cómo estás? Hola, Public Enemy. Los observo. Están ahí, yo sé que están ahí.
No, perhaps not. My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You were literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
No pasa nada. Es que vi el tanquecito ahí. Chapo. ¿Qué te piensas que soy? Cagón. Perdón, perdón que te hayas puesto. Es que vi el tanquecito y fue como, no lo sé. Sé que estás ahí. ¿Qué onda cómo muere?
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know
Pate
anymore.
Swift.
Do you actually
Dijo.
want to stay alive?
Tonto.
Or are you just teasing me? I wanted us to be happy here, Stanley. I really did. I wish I still
Campeón
thought that
bajo
was
López.
possible.
Dijo. Dale, Ariana.
Me encanta que no exista en la esquinita solo. Aflojar el ácido, mirá, mirá, mirá. Oh. No. ¿Cómo?
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Voy a regresar. Pasado. Empezó con el texto, what the fuck.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted.
Este no.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to
Voy a hacer lo
admire it.
mismo nada más.
The lounge was sublime,
¿Por qué
a
no
work of art.
empezabas?
But
Estoy bien.
eager to get back to business,
Empezaba
Stanley
así.
took the first open door on his left.
No empezaba así, estoy bien.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
No.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here.
Gente,